came into the season, you talked a lot about what you kind of envisioned this offense being, like an offense that spreads the ball around a lot. Do you feel like this was kind of what you thought when the season started? Capable of?
Yeah, it's something we've, this game was really split, on targets and, we're the guys that their number being called and all that kind of stuff. And, we knew with 12 down, that it was going to be a game where everyone was going to have to contribute, because he's one of our best players. And I always say it's hard to replace a guy like that, but, everyone else's workload gets, bumped up a little bit when you're missing somebody. So with 12 being out, really proud of the guys that stepped up. It was a lot of hard work, extra throws with the newer guys. And like I said after the game, it wasn't perfect, but, we were, guys were making catches, guys were running their routes, the efficiency and the timing, and when we needed them to be there, they were there. And this is what I dreamed of, and I know a lot of teams want a lot of people want the stats for one guy and all that kind of stuff, but I've always felt the best football teams always spread it out, and whoever could have a big day, whoever can have the touchdowns, but it's good for the team.
Derek, how important was it to have this is what it can look like, this is what it can feel like game? I memean, you guys have talked about not having one of those for 4 quarters for most of the year. How important was it to have one of those as evidence?
Yeah, I felt it was just the validation of the positivity that we've been bringing. I know at times it's been frustrating. That I was so positive and this kind of stuff. It's because we don't just show up on Sunday, see each other, and like, hey, let's play a game together. There's a lot of work that we've been putting in, and we're trying to get better. The last 3 weeks in the red zone have been so much better. Today, going 50% on third down against that defense, that's improvement. And we all wanted it immediately. It didn't happen that way, and like I said, this is what we've earned, and we've been improving, and this was kind of that validation of the positivity that we felt. You felt maybe from some of our guys.
Carl, you often deflect the attention away from yourself, but how does this kind of a game feel for you personally, and where does that stack for you so far during your tenure in New Orleans?
Yeah, it felt good. It did, because you always want to put your best foot forward. No matter what you do, football, whether you're writing a story, you always want to put your best stuff out there. And I'm sure you all have written something, and you're like, oh wow, how was I thinking there? Like I've thrown some passes, like, gosh, dang, what am I thinking there? We're human. It's going to happen. But whenever you just keep working, and the hard work, it pays off, and you have a day like that as a team and as an offense, it makes you happy, because I told you, man, I just want to win here. That's all I want to do. I say it all the time, I got enough yards and touchdowns for a lifetime. I'm thankful for it all. That's not why I'm here. I just want to win these games, and to see how we won today, everyone involved, everyone making plays when we needed them. That's the thing that feels good for me. Because there's a lot of hard work and, things that go on behind the scenes that I was just really proud of today.
How good was the protection overall, would you say?
It's unbelievable. It's tough to do against this team, too. I told you I'd be tired after this one. It gives you a headache. The amount of different personnel groups, the pressures, the checks that you have to make, and there was a lot of that going on in the game. And Rams down, Landon stepping in. Max is going to the jumbo spot. There was so many moving parts. And I'm just really proud of those guys. They did a fantastic job, and I had a feeling that they were going to have a good day. You could just feel that energy. You could feel that from them, and there was no fights today, so that was a good thing too.
What did you see on the second touchdown pass, particularly the Juwan kind of pop right open there? What did you see on that play?
Well, they're playing like a low, what they would call invert, and the safety. I tried to pump and look him, over to Rashid. Obviously, Rashid's a fast guy, and it was great design by RC and Pete by putting that route on there, because they knew that we'd have a hole there, and it literally happened. Very rarely does it happen in the game just like it does in practice. That was one that was pretty similar, and was happy about that play. I'm sure Gruden is watching that one somewhere. Slow go seam. He's probably fired up about that one. I'm sure I got a text from him for that one.
Derek, because of the positivity you've put out there, it feels like you remain confident and brushed off a lot of the stuff. But what the last few weeks, was there people you were turning to for advice or encouragement about dealing with that stretch?
I'm not gonna lie to you. A lot of the former Saints players, when we had that the little Saturday walkthrough, and they were here, everybody was here, so many guys came up to me and just put their arm around me like, we see what you're about. We know what you're, man, keep going. We're proud of you. Keep going. You're going to be great. Archie texts me every week. Keep going. You're doing great, man. Go get them, and, had encouragement. Peyton a few weeks back sent me a text, and just different guys that, you just get relationships with somehow, some way. And, I got a good support group around me. I make sure I got prayer warriors around me, and, that's how I've always been. That's how I'll always be, because, when you surround yourself with the right people and the right voices, they remind you who you are. Because it's easy. Like, we all know we've had hard times and good times, and you can feel too good about yourself, and sometimes you can feel too down about yourself too. It's good to have those people around you to remind you what you're capable of every day. And so, the word today from DeMario was noise. Block it out and be the noise. And so I just thought it was perfect for our team today. But yeah, I'm always positive. And sometimes people get annoyed with it, but I'm gonna be that way for the rest of my life. I'd much rather live that way than the other way. It's harder getting up in the morning when you live the other way.
You mentioned the red zone just earlier, and just how it's gotten better the last few weeks. What have you guys found down there? Is it just that extra work has helped? Like, what's kind of been the keys to that?
Yeah, I really thought when it wasn't going well, there was a lot of times where we had good plays, and we'd have a holding, or we had the Atlanta game where we turned it over twice down there, uncharacteristic of us. And so it's kind of like this storm that kind of hit us, and we're like, man, we know we're doing the work. We know we have good design. And then DA and Pete and everybody, they we spent a little bit extra time on it throughout the week in certain areas and fit it in certain ways, and I think that's helped. I do. Whenever you emphasize something and you work hard at it and everyone buys in, it usually gets better. And so we're proud of that, and we want to continue to improve that. We want to get more down there. We want to get touchdowns every time. I think in the last 3 weeks we've missed one touchdown, but those are the ones that keep you hungry for all of them. And so it's going to be a tough challenge this week on a short week to be able to fit all that work in, but we got to keep doing it because it's working for us right now.
Is that improvement this late in the season proof that you can still peak in December? I know a lot of people look at it and they're like, man, it's December, it's not going to change, but is that evidence that a team can keep getting better this late in the year?
Absolutely, especially with we had so many. You got a new quarterback coming in, sees things one way. You got a different system, and you got to merge the two. And we tried our best to do it as fast as possible. We had moments where we're like, oh, wow, they can be explosive, or we can do this or do that. But, we've shown the last couple of weeks, we can mirror some things and continually get better. And so, I talked about with Mickey all the time. He's like, it's not going to happen right away. It's going to take time. We're going to keep building. And so far, we've been able to prove that that's true. We can keep getting better. And hopefully we continue to maintain the things we're doing well. And there'll be 3 or 4 things our coaches give us for this week that we can do better from what just happened. And we keep working on that. And so it's all about the process. And, it's tough sometimes. It's hard. But we believe that we're getting better, and we believe that we can continue to be better, too.
You said Peyton saying you texted with Sean Payton?
No, I'm sorry. Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning, got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it was a few weeks back, though.
Yeah. It looked like today you guys wanted to take some shots against this defense, and they just weren't there. So just can you speak on taking what was available to you today and just having a really kind of efficient passing attack? Yeah, and that's this NFL now today, that people don't just line up in a certain coverage and let you run. No matter who's on the field, let you run whatever you want, And they know, when certain guys are on the field, what you're trying to do, and you try and chess piece that with getting a look over the middle and intermediate and short, and and it's chess piece movements all the time. And so, for us today, we had a couple times where we tried to, we wanted to hit some big plays, that we thought we could hit. We were able to hit a couple of them, but we didn't get to throw all of them, and that's where Pete, he has trusted me, and RC trusted me to make sure I just don't force those things and make the right decision if it does have to get checked down and all those things. And that's why we have a guy like AK. You got a guy like Foster who's really good at catching the ball in those play actions and getting north and south, and Juwan and Taysom and all these guys. So Yeah, we tried for sure. If they were there, I would have thrown all of them, you know. But it was good by our guys being where they needed to be when it wasn't there, so we could have that throw too.
Derek, you did get the tight ends involved a lot. Was that matchup specific, or is that something you've been pushing to do in recent weeks?
Yeah, I think it just fell that way this week. You know, obviously, you know, with 12 being out, you know, other guys' roles, like I said, increase, and we got some good players in that room, and they're healthy, and as can be right now, and that was an emphasis for us. Is, you know, with him being out, how can we, you know, involve everybody? And I really think it was a masterful job by Pete, you know, and RC, just, you know, spreading that out, you know, and putting guys in positions to do some things where the defense thinks they're doing one, you do another, you know. And I just thought they did a fantastic job of including everybody, because I told you, like, if any receivers or tight ends come up to me, I'm going to point them right back to RC and Pete, like, go talk to them, because I'm going to read these plays out, you know. And our guys have been great, and everyone made their plays when they were called on today.
It looks like you have your touchdown celebration with Jimmy all worked out now.
You saw that.
Yeah.
I was trying to get that rib flared up again, you know. I was like, hey, you know, and thankfully he didn't black out and punch me in the chest. So I was thankful, because I feel better after today's game for sure.
Did you feel better this week coming into this game than last week as well? I know there's, you know, nobody's 100% at this point, but.
Yeah, I did. I felt a lot better. I felt a lot better. You know, the hardest thing is, like, I've always been a guy, like, I'm going to get ready for Wednesday practice. You know, and, like, they're like, you can wait till Friday. I just can't. That's how I feel as a competitor. And what helps get me ready for the games is Wednesday. And so sometimes I rush it, you know, and that's the risk reward I'm willing to follow on that sword any day, you know, just to show my teammates that, no, I'm ready Wednesday too. You know, I'll be there for you. And coming into practice this week, I thought I didn't re-aggravate anything in last week's game. So I was able to come in kind of with another step forward, you know, and so hopefully keep doing that, because today was another day where I feel good after the game, didn't re-aggravate anything, and hopefully that continues. You know, it's football and things happen, but I definitely felt better this week.
You've spoken a lot about the desire to win in this city. Earlier this week, you talked about giving everything you can mentally and physically to give the fans something to cheer about. I know that there's more on the way, there's more to be done, but in a vacuum this week, how did it feel to be able to come in and provide that, or help to provide that with this game?
Yeah, I would say help to provide, because nobody does it by themselves. And so, you know, for me, it felt good. It felt like we talked about. Of course it felt good. You know, everyone's cheering, the songs kick on right before kickoff, and everyone feels good on the sideline, you know. And, you know, for me, you know, seeing our teammates with that confidence, and watching that confidence build, watching that belief build in the last couple of weeks, I've seen that look before, and that's a good feeling to have at this time of year, like we talked about in December.
Do you think about throwing up a celebration? Is that just a defensive thing?
No, that's definitely just a defensive thing. You know, for me, you know, although it wouldn't have been that celebration. I had a couple of different celebrations, and one of their coaches kept yelling at me, you know, from their sideline. I was like, but I don't know who you are, bro. Like, why are you talking to me? You know, not gonna lie, so I did have one fight today, but it wasn't with a teammate. So,
seriously though, you know, we talked about the negative energy in the dome a couple weeks ago. That was a storyline. You just mentioned what it felt like. I mean, is this kind of what you envisioned it being like here? A big win, the crowd dancing and stuff like that?
Yeah, 100% is exactly what I envisioned. Yeah, you know, I think that's what we all were hoping for, you know. And so to get that validation from us working hard and knowing it's not just going to happen overnight, even though we all felt confident and all that, you know, it feels good. And it feels good that we're improving, getting healthier, all those things. It's all going in the right direction. But like Double D said, if we don't take care of business on Thursday, it won't feel good again, you know. But to hear the crowd cheering, you know, every touchdown, running in the tunnel and everyone's going nuts. Derek, we love you. I was like, I've always loved you, you know. You know, all that stuff is good, you know, and it's good. It's good for our city. It's good for our team. But yeah, like I said earlier in the week, we got to give them something to get excited about, you know, and we were able to do that today.
Can you tell us what the coach was yelling at you about?
Yeah, he told me to stop complaining, and he's like, stop. I couldn't believe they threw intentional grounding. I was like, we got to talk about this rule. When we get hit, I have no control over that ball after that, you know. And so anyway, he was yelling at me. He's like, "Stop complaining." I was like, "Who are you?" "I don't even know you," all that stuff. And it wasn't Wink. I have all the respect for Wink. So I want to make sure that's clear too.
Speaking of DeMario, a couple of the defensive guys talked about the fast start that DeMario had and how that impacted them. Does that fire y'all up over on the offensive side as well, watching that from the sideline?
Absolutely. He gets the crowd into it. Everybody loves DeMario. We all love DeMario. So when he makes a play, everybody's happy. We all feel like we made the play with him. He's such a great teammate. So, yeah, and he's doing his little celebration, all those things. Yeah, it makes you feel good. It gets you excited. And that's with anybody. That's when, Jimmy makes that great catch. Man, it turns the whole game. AT makes the diving catch last week. Man, everyone feels great for it. So that's why it's the ultimate team game. And that, it's a beautiful thing, so that'll never change.
And then with Jimmy, was there something with the touchdown pass to Keith Kirkwood? It looked like Jimmy kind of drew some of the safety attention. Did that help to set up the later Jimmy touchdown on the play action, or?
Yeah, so it's a different personnel group, but yeah, I mean, Jimmy in general just attracts attention when you get down in the red zone. And so he was absolutely able to open up a window there. Taysom and the running back were able to cross and part it for me, and I ended up throwing it low because very rarely are people that open in the NFL. So I was like, am I sure I'm seeing this right? So I threw him low just to be safe because that was a great design by our coaches and a great job by Keith. We talked about that exact play, and RC said he's going to throttle right in that window for you. We got the look, and it hit, and it felt good.
Hey, with Keith, that was his first touchdown since the 2018 season.
Wow.
So I'm just curious, just for the guy who doesn't get a lot of those opportunities, what he kind of brings on a day-to-day, play-to-play basis.
Jameis always laughs. He's like, "That's your guy." I was like, "That is my guy," because when I first got here, we had like those OTA the workouts, not the practices, and I would get there early, and before we worked out, I would throw it at like 6 a.m. and Keith was there every day, every single day. So we just built this relationship. After every OTA practice, we run gassers. After every training camp practice, gasser. After every regular season, we run after practice, me and him together, and we just built this relationship. And it's really cool because we talked about him. There's going to be a moment where we're going to need him. We're going to rely on him, and it was so cool to see that come to fruition today. So I'm glad you talked about Keith because that's a great story. A guy that just keeps his head down, works hard, great teammate, super positive, more than me, super positive. And to watch him be able to score and see all the team go nuts for him because they know the work he puts in. He's one of those guys for us. So I was very happy for him.
Do you and Coach ever have a discussion about all the criticism, or does two veteran guys, veteran coach, veteran player, does that have to be said or not?
Oh no, basically it's like, man, ignore the noise. I'm like, you don't got to tell me, we're good, and that's about like the extent of it. That's it, At this point in our careers, we understand, that's a part of it, but there was no like conversation or, are you going to be okay? There's none of that. He knows how I'm wired. I know how he's wired, and it was good. It was positive, and we're just happy that everybody was happy today. It was good.
You mentioned earlier there were former Saints players at the walkthrough. Was that like a production meeting thing, or people just?
So it was. What was the week? It was. Legends Weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, Jabari was going to the Ring of Honor, right, or the Hall of Fame, and so they were all there, and just a whole bunch of guys. Even one of my former college teammates, Bryce Harris, was there. A couple, Curtis Lofton, another teammate of mine. But it was good to see those guys, and some of the former players just putting their arm around me, just like we believe in you, man. Keep going. And that, everyone likes encouragement, So as positive as I am, it was nice to have the support of those guys for sure.
A couple of weeks ago, there was something about red zone practice kind of starting a little bit earlier on in the week. Is that something that's persisted, or are you back to the regular practice schedule?
No, we've kept that same schedule. Yeah, we kept that because right after, I don't remember the exact number, forgive me, it was 3 for 3 or 3 for 4 or 4 for something like that. We had a good day, 4 for 4 I think it was, against Detroit. And it was positive, so we stuck with it, and it's been helping. Again, doesn't ever mean it's going to be perfect, but it's definitely helping for sure. Good, thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Derek, that's it, DeMario.